This is about the genome regulation mode of inhibition of DNA break repair by MDM2. So the how do MDM2 will try to what's MDM2 and how MDM2 is involved in the DNA break repair and genome stability. So what happens is whenever the double strand breaks happens, then what happened is ATM, ATR are the two. ATM mainly, ataxia telangiectasia mutated will get activated, and ATM will help in the recruitment of H2AX. H2AX foci is gamma H2AX, means H2AX which is phosphorylated is called gamma H2 foci. They will be regulated, and then the DNA repair starts happening. But the most important is NRE complex, which is NBS1 MRE and RAD50. This complex will recognize the double strand break and then try to repair. But what happens is if the MDM2, which is oncogene, will get activated, it will try to stop the DNA repair, and finally it will try to make the cell undergo the tumorigenesis. A beautiful example. But P53 is an important protein that regulates the MDM2 and try to control the cell not to undergo cancer. So this topic we are discussing about how fruits are very important of the Indian traditional medicine, how it is important. We are discussing for 5 minutes. So for example, garlic one has consumed, it contains ajoin, and garlic induces apoptosis leukemia. So leukemia people can take this. This is well proven. Then caspase 3 and 8 will get activated. Allicin, which is also present in the garlic, inhibit the mammary and endometrial and colon cancer by inhibiting NF-κB pathway. NF-κB means nuclear factor kappa beta. It's also inhibit the P53, or the NF-κB also involved in the inflammation associated with the cancer. Where there is inflammation, there is a cancer progression. So inflammation and cancer are highly interrelated ones and the hallmark of the cancer. Allicin will inhibit NF-κB pathway. Another important one is epigallocatechin 3 gallate. It blocks the DNA methyltransferase and telomerase activity. So what is Warburg effect? This I am working on the some kind little bit on Warburg. Cancer cells carry aerobic glycolysis, converts the glucose into lactate even in the presence of oxygen. So this is called Warburg effect. It's a beautiful example. And positron emission tomography, it's an important one for the diagnosis of the cancer. Why? Because tumor cells will try to take more of the glucose, and but when the cancer cells try to absorb the glucose, if you give the fluoro 2-deoxyglucose, which is also analog of the glucose, then definitely it will go into the cells and accumulate in the cancer cells more and more. So positron emission tomography, which is called PET, one can detect the cancer cells very easily where the cancer is there and how they are progressing. So AMPK pathway is very important pathway. Oncogene tumor suppressor hypoxia pathway. AMP pathway, whenever a person will fall down, AMP pathway is an important question and important topic to be discussed. Whenever energy is very less and people start fainting, suppose students were taught from the 9 o'clock till 2 o'clock, then slowly fainting will start. How the fainting will start is like this. AMP will be more, it means ATP will be less, is the general fundamental. AMP is a protein that contains alpha, beta, gamma subunits. So conformational change will be mediated by the phosphorylation mediated by LKB protein is very important on the alpha subunit of the AMPK protein. AMP gets activated 200 folds at threading 170 catalyzed by many upstream kinases. So kinases regulate the kinase. It's an example of how the kinases regulate the kinase AMPK pathway. AMPK pathway senses the energy is there for a person, glucose is there or not. So glucose is very important constituent for the cancer cells because cancer cell rapid proliferation, the main important one is glucose. So there are many research papers that if you can control the glucose metabolism, there is a chance that we can control the cancer progression. So that's a hypothesis also going on. So I am working on the glucose and the metabolism, and one paper is going to be published this month. ATP producing process such as fatty oxidation and glycolysis will get activated, and ATP consuming such as fatty and acid synthesis stops. So AMPK alpha and beta and gamma will control the pancreatic, liver, adipose and heart and skeletal muscle control. And pathways of the energy metabolism, how AMPK controls is AMPK controls the TSC2 and mTOR pathway. It will activate TSC2, which will inhibit. TSC2 is an important tumor suppressor also, and also key component present in the tuberous sclerosis. TSC2, it controls the mTOR metabolism, and then AMPK active means it will regulate the p53 and cell cycle control. So AMPK pathway under starvation, this kind of pathway will happen, and AMPK also regulate the HIF pathway and control the Krebs cycle. So AMPK pathway is an important kinase pathway. What are the kinases that regulate the kinase? AMPK is a kinase regulated by LKB, TAC and calmodulin kinase. This is a very, very important research topic to be discussed. Kinases regulating the kinase. Thank you.